Hello everyone, welcome to my first impressions of Senran Kagura Estival Versus for the PS4. You know what's kind of sad? That Dead or Alive Extreme 3 got so much press attention, and this game got none. Because this is actually a good game, unlike Dead or Alive Extreme 3. Okay, so what is it? Well, it's a game developed by Tamsoft, and it's published by Xseed. Xseed has been doing some cool things lately, where they've been bringing a lot of games over to the West that were developed in Japan, like this one. This is basically a Dynasty Warriors style game. The, what's it pronounced, Musu, I guess, series. Similar to that. Now, at first, when I was playing this game, I had some low expectations. I was like, oh, it's kind of like Dynasty Warriors. It's kind of cool, but I feel like it's lower par. But as I played it, it's gotten so good that I've just been enjoying the hell out of it. We'll get into that in a bit. So, audio options pretty good. You can actually have a guide, like one of the girls. You can switch the voices for who is doing like the voiceover for the menu. So that's kind of cool. There's DLC in this game, although I will say that there is a lot of base content to start out with. So, you know, that's cool. Camera options. Skip story sequence in case you just want to get to the action. It's all nice and good. Library, this is for a bunch of unlockables that, yeah, there's a lot of stuff to unlock in this game, similar to Dynasty Warriors, except I would argue more. Alright, let's get right into it. The controversial, I guess, part of the game, or whatever counts as controversial these days, pretty much anything will. So, yes, there are a lot of costumes, and you might notice, yes, those are some rather fabulous breasts. Okay, so, the game's a bit lewd. I'm not just talking about this dress-up sequence, no, I'm talking about the fact that when you're fighting, as you lose or as you win, your clothes or the enemy's clothes will gradually rip off. No, I didn't stutter, you heard me correctly. Although, I gotta say, this is one of the better games with fan service, because at least it's fun to play the game. I still feel like Chris Hansen's gonna break down my door, but, you know. At least it's a good... oh, Jesus. At least it's a good game. But you notice this right here, there's variations on these outfits, too. So there's, like, a lot of customization. I gotta give him credit for that. Like, look at this. This is just for, like, your main outfit. And there's, like, transformation outfits. Like, you can have, like, things, like, for, like, pre-transform, post-transformation. Favorite outfits, yeah, it's got a lot of good fan service, I will admit. And there's also a diorama mode. See, yeah, that's what I was, yeah. Anyway, let's get out of this, and let's just show you the game, because that's what you came for, right? I hope you at least did. Because the game's actually pretty good. We'll get into the little extras in a bit after we complete a mission. But, yeah, there is a lot of stuff. And you can also see, the protagonists. Let's just get on with it before I get distracted, anyway. Alright, so special mission, these are, like, objectives and challenges. They're actually kind of difficult. Shinobi Girl's Heart, that's basically... The main campaign is, like, features, like, it swaps between girl to girl. This one is just follows one girl at a time. So... yeah. Alright, we're gonna be playing Existence of Emotions. I haven't gotten too far in this game. There's basically 8 days for the story, and I'm in day 3. These are all the missions I've done so far. Yeah, I haven't really scratched the surface here because, you know, while I am kind of almost halfway through the main campaign, there's a lot of other side stuff to do and challenges. There's also online multiplayer. Unfortunately, no one's really playing it right now. As you can see, the character models are actually fairly well rendered. Boobs, asses, and all. Now, what I have to say is that the voice acting is actually quite good. But the voice direction and some of the dialogue is just not. Like, I feel like some characters are just generally annoying, and it's not really the fault of the voice actresses. Now, the other problem I have is sometimes the animation quality. Now, the animations, the actual fighting animations are good, and there's a lot of them. Like, they added a lot of animations, like each girl has their own special attacks, which is cool. There's a good variety. But I think the problem is that sometimes when there's actually something that's genuinely funny happening on screen, it's just not portrayed well by the facial animations. Like, you can see here, it's kind of static. Even, like, shock and surprise is just, as you can see here, it's not very great. Like, an anime adaptation, which I believe this is technically based off of, does portray the animations a little bit better. There's only so much you can do with a game. Like, it's not like they have the highest budget. This is kind of a budget title. Yes, it is $60, but they are releasing it with, like, the collector's edition. So each character, as you can tell, has some kind of gimmick. That one right there has the gimmick of no emotions. Now, some can be just kind of, you know, basic B. Oh god, just like a basic anime character, like the lowest tier. But some actually have a little bit more than that. Some have some quirks, and as you play the story, some characters get a little bit more interesting. Welcome to the game. Doesn't look too bad, right? Models are generally the best part about this game. And now we're gonna get into the fighting. Combat is different depending on which character you play. I'm playing a shorter ranged, fast, visceral character right now. So, as you would expect, in something like Dynasty Warriors, you would hit, you know, square and triangle, or X and Y, depending on what you're using. And now in this game in particular, as you progress your character, each character has their own levels. You can unlock more attacks, so there's level 6 and level 16. What I will say is that, while I can appreciate the progressive system, that you're getting better and better with the character, the problem I have is that at least Dynasty Warriors, they let you unlock all your combos. Like, limiting your combos does hurt the gameplay in a way, although I still say the game has enough base stuff to begin with. There's actually status ailments and even aerial combat, as you see aerial rave there. I'm not good at it, but let's see if I can... I can't really get it. I'm really terrible at it. And it's better if you're doing it on the hero characters, but there is some really cool aerial combat. Dynasty Warriors really doesn't have that at all. In fact, the recovery in this game is really good. When you get knocked down, you can jump, and you can dash. In Dynasty Warriors, you can sprint, but it's... Well, I'm sorry, no, you can't even do that. In Hyrule Warriors, you can sprint after not being in combat for a bit. In Dynasty Warriors, you have to call upon a horse. So there's more mobility, and there's more ground to cover. You can even do... I think if I can do it here, yeah, you can do, like, wall jumping and aerial attacks from walls. There's even its own... You even have its own combo set for it, which is just awesome. So at the bottom left there, you'll see my allies' health. Let's see if I can do, there. So when you do a combo, and you hit the PlayStation touch button, you can do this aerial move. This is kind of overpowered, but you can only do this when you have a partner. Partner's health is between the bottom left there. I haven't really encountered a really difficult game in which I was getting my ass handed to me with a partner. I was doing pretty well regardless. Bottom left, of course, the blue gauge is your health, and the yellow gauge is pretty much the new Musu gauge. Now, when you fill that gauge up all the way, you'll get one of those scrolls, and then when you... Now, you have to transform in this game to use them, and those are each of the girls' special abilities. This is where the game shines, because each girl has their own special ability, and their fighting style complements that. So you'll have, like, girls with heavy ranged attacks for their special attacks. You know, that'll match their base attacks. So, like, well, one will have a gun, the other will have two, like, really strong iron fists. This one just simply has a really fast attacking knife. So, you can use the... And I'll show you in a second, these when the enemy main characters show up. Which is kind of a theme in this game. Similar to Dynasty Warriors, you'll be fighting stronger enemies. Enemy variety in this game is actually quite good, although I will say because their AI is not very good, it's very hard for them to differentiate themselves. Like, as you see, I'm just wailing on them. And it makes sense, because you can't really have aggressive AI in these games. There was a game, I'm trying to remember it, was it Warriors of Troy? It was some game that was like Dynasty Warriors, and they made the AI aggressive, and it was a huge mistake. Like, the AI were way too difficult, and it was just... it was a frustrating mess. Like, not difficult as in, like, oh, I can't handle this difficulty for my easy game. No, it was actually, like, a broken mess. Okay, so here's how the main part of the game works. So, you're scored based on how quickly you can beat them and how well you do, obviously. Now, one of the things in this game is the transformation sequence. Now, when you transform, you gain all your health back, and you can use your special abilities. There's two transformations. One is where you'll lose your clothes, I kid you not, but you'll attack faster, but you'll have lower defense. So that's good for speedrunning, I guess, and for playing very offensively and, you know, a little bit defensively. Alright, let's transform. So it costs 1 scroll. And of course, the transformations are amazing. All credit to them, a lot of the transformations, they actually clothe them up a bit more. This one, not the case, though. Less clothing. So now I've gained a full bar of health. Now these guys can do the exact same thing. They'll gain health. So what you want to do is as soon as you get them to a certain health threshold, when they're about to transform, you're going to want to absolutely, like, go ham and take them out before they transform, because that'll waste a bunch of time, and then you'll get a lesser score. Alright, so I'm hitting L1 and square here. Alright, I took her out. Now I'm going to destroy this thing over here. Now there are... she did it. Now you can skip pretty much all of these. I'm just showing them off. Notice how a lot more clothing. Now I'm gonna destroy this thing right here if I can. Oh, that is weird. I think she just transformed before I could even kill her. Alright, destroyed one of these things. So, these are throughout the game. They're sometimes out of place, and they can unlock collectibles and extra missions in the other category areas. Now when you have 3 controls, you can do, like, L1 and triangle, so that'll do this for this character. That use 2 scrolls. Well, some attacks use 3 scrolls, some require, like, 3, but only use 1. It's kind of weird how it works. Now, can I just say, the music is actually really good. I'll give you a listen, and I'll just shut up for a bit. The Games Collector's Edition comes with a soundtrack, and I think that was a good decision. The soundtrack in this game is quite good. This is one of the lesser tracks, I would feel, but there are some that are just rockingly amazing. Like, it has that sense of... It's trying to do what Dynasty Warriors tries to do, and it's doing it well. It wears its inspiration on its sleeve. It knows what made Dynasty Warriors a good game. Simple, but somewhat complex combat. Well, I just say, this game is way more combos than Dynasty Warriors. There is more to do. And it has the kick-ass music and the great sound effects. You know, visually it looks fine. It runs at 60 frames per second, which is great. Visually, it looks amazing. Their eyes look so nice. Oh my god! Did you see that? That bounce. Oh my god, what a tease. Again, it's the choice of dialogue. It's kind of weird, but it's... I don't know. It knows it's to not take itself too seriously, and that gives me the impressions of Dynasty Warriors. But Dynasty Warriors was so bad it's good camp. This is kind of all over the place. Like, sometimes the writing can be a little bit amusing. Now, it took me a while there. And yes, even though I did try to, like, finish that as soon as possible, it was still a D rank. I could have comboed more. I could have done a lot more to appease my waifu, unfortunately. 8 save slots. Now, a few complaints I have about the game are a few more, actually. Loading screens, they're short, but there's a lot of them, and I'm still loading this off like a... This is the downloaded version, and I'm loading this off a hybrid drive. So it could be a few seconds longer for each screen than for you. The plot of the game is kind of... I'm not familiar with a lot of the Senran Kagura games. All I know is that each of these girls is from like a different shinobi clan, I want to say, and the whole point is that they've been sent to this like special resort area where they can also train to be like this new path for shinobi, which will make them like the highest tier. They don't spend too long focusing on it, although it's still brought up. It's more about the boobs and the summer vacation. It's not as fan servicey as you think, but there is a lot of it. And if you think that the voice acting does great, it can in battles, especially with your partner, especially with the repeated lines sometimes. Let's just skip ahead a little bit. We'll do one more and then we'll show you the some of the unlockables and stuff that you can get. Now, another problem I have is that some characters are just straight up not enjoyable to play. For me, at least. Like, some are too slow when you have a lot of these fast attacking enemies. It can be a little annoying. Like, this girl is not too bad, but she is still a little bit slow. She has an umbrella machine gun, which is just awesome. I love that. Keep losing connection with Wi-Fi. Just, what are you doing, Sony? You're drunk. Locations are varied up, although it's really just background and window dressing. The thing with Dynasty Warriors is they had a lot of objectives and a lot of things to do with the map and how they worked, like how enemies would... There were a lot of different paths you can utilize, and there were extra, like, unlockable missions that you could do, depending on how you played each mission. This is just simple arena-style, kill everyone in sight. Dynasty Warriors actually featured objectives. It's a shame this didn't have it. I would love to see some kind of cross-game. It would... Or at least the developers, you know, you don't have to cross Dynasty Warriors x Senran Kagura. It would be very weird to imagine that. They're very different in style and aesthetic. One is about Chinese empires, and the other one is about giant-breasted women in shinobi outfits. And when I say shinobi, I mean, well, not really shinobi. I mean, some of them might be, but I doubt it. Let's show you that other transformation. Can I show you that other transformation? There we go. Okay, so if you hit R1 and touch the touchpad, and if you just swipe away, like you're pulling clothes off, you can do that. And then Chris Hansen will arrive at your door and ask you what you're doing here. So, this increases your attack, but you are more likely to just get killed. But you can get a higher score through completing the game quicker, because again, your attack's increased. Now, bear in mind, you cannot transform back. This is your only amount for health, so I just wanted to burn that early just to show this off. I think that is literally the only male voice actor in the entire game, is that dolphin. Not enough male representation, unfortunately. There's not enough equal opportunities. I want to see dicks, too. Come on. Like, I'm a straight white male, but I feel like I'm being misrepresented in video games. It's amazing. Alright, so I beat them before they could transform. That's awesome. Again, the fast attack is very beneficial. It's not like something you won't be using ever if you want to get a good score. I think I'll probably get like a B rank for this. This woman, though, I think I'm not going to be able to kill her before transformation. If you can, like, stun lock and combo her, you can stop her as soon as you hit, but, yeah, she did it anyway. You gotta utilize the resources you have. And there's some strategy to that. I like that. It's repetitive, but it's still fun. There's enough to keep you going. If you like the idea of Dynasty Warriors, but you just still couldn't get into the repetition of it, you might like this game a little bit more, although it is still very repetitive in many regards. But the missions are quick. There is a lot of variety in areas and the characters. And of course, there's a lot of collectibles. So if you like this, if you like what you see, you can get a lot of hours out of this game. For $60, it is a little bit hard to recommend for some, because, again, if you know what you like Dynasty Warriors, you're probably not going to have a problem with this game. Although I would give it a couple hours, because in the first 2 hours, hour and a half, I would say, when I played in this game, I was just not enjoying it. That's including when I was watching all the cutscenes. I didn't feel the dialogue was up to you know, anything that I've... you know, anything worth $60, I would say. It doesn't have to be, but the gameplay wasn't really showing it either. But it's been getting a lot better. Yeah, B rank, not too bad. This game doesn't really hand out ranks like candy, like some other games, like, you know, DMC Devil May Cry. Mastering some gives you, like, you know, more abilities. Let's go to the menu. More moves, yeah. Let's save here, and then let's just go to some of the other options that you can do. So yeah, dressing room, library. These are all the unlockables, of course. There's actually some animated cutscenes which are cool. Did I unlock any visuals? I have not. Despite being on day 3, it looks like I've just unlocked. It just scratched the surface. Although some of these are like you have to do a little roulette machine, a slot machine, excuse me. So let's go to the shop. So it's like you unlock them in order to unlock them again. Awesome. So like I haven't done this too much, but so I don't have to play it. It's sort of like the slot machines in a lot of games, but I cannot help but think of the one in Minish Cap, those little collectible figures that you would get. Animation takes a little bit, which is annoying. Rate 87. It's a lot of base content to start out with, so you're not going to be spending most of the time unlocking everything. Voice acting. Whoa! Efficiency rank. Guys, I'm way sexy here. Hold on. Nice. Okay. I think that's enough of that. There is some character progression, there is some story that's kind of interesting. Dare I say that it has more character development than Destiny, or more story progression than Destiny. Maybe I don't want to be that controversial, but what I will say is that Senran Kagura is an excellent game. It's a criminal shame that Dead or Alive Extreme 3, that piece of crap, actually got more attention in this game, where this one is actually good. And that's all I have to say. Definitely give it a look. It's more than meets the eye. Don't judge it by its cover. It's actually kind of good. Alright, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you very much for watching. I'm out.